If you sleep in until like 11 in the morning this Saturday, you are not just catching up on rest. You are actually forcing your brain to go through the exact same biological stress as traveling across three different time zones.
Yeah, you are giving yourself what scientists call social jet lag.
Right. And your body is basically going to pay the price for it when your alarm goes off on Monday morning.
Oh, absolutely. It is a rough feeling.
So, welcome to English Refined. I am your host, and my absolute favorite thing to do is to take the English language, break it down into its most interesting parts, and share those discoveries with you.
And I am your resident expert. I really love to explain how the world works and, well, how our language reflects all of that. It is great to be here.
I am so glad you are here. Today, our deep dive is all about one specific mission, and that is to talk about daily routines.
A super important topic.
Exactly. For the English learners tuning in, this is designed perfectly for you. We are going to explore everyday life using very basic, easy-to-understand English.
Right, because learning those simple phrases is the foundation of actually using the language.
Yes, but while we learn these simple phrases, we are also going to discover some really fascinating facts about how the human brain and body rely on these routines.
I mean, that is the perfect intersection. Learning a language is not just about memorizing vocabulary lists.
No, not at all.
It is about connecting those words to real human experiences. And honestly, nothing is more universal than the daily routine.
Right. Everybody has one, even if it is a messy one.
Exactly. The human brain is basically a prediction machine. It really craves automation.
Hmm.
So when you establish a routine, you are literally changing your brain to conserve energy.
That is wild to think about. So let's just jump right into it. Every single day has to start somewhere.
Right at the beginning.
Yep. So our conversation naturally begins at the very first moment of the day, waking up.
A very crucial moment.
But right away, we hit a bit of a language roadblock that trips up a lot of English learners. I mean, the difference between the verbs wake up and get up.
Oh, yeah. People use them interchangeably all the time.
Right. But they represent totally different physical states, don't they?
They really do. And it is a brilliant little detail in the English language. Wake up refers purely to the moment you stop sleeping. Your eyes open.
So it is just consciousness returning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your brain fires up, but you might still be lying completely flat in your bed. You are awake, but you are not up.
Right. I know that feeling very well. So wake up is mental, but get up is physical.
Yes, get up is the moment you physically leave the bed. You swing your legs over the side and put your feet on the floor.
And sometimes there's a huge gap between waking up and getting up.
Oh, a massive gap. Biologically, when you wake up, your body temperature is still really low. So sometimes it takes a huge effort to bridge the gap between waking up at, say, 6 in the morning and finally getting up at 6:30.
Now, when we want to express exactly when this happens in English, we use very specific time expressions.
Little connecting words.
Yeah, so if I am pointing to a precise moment on a clock, I use the word at. Like, I wake up at 7 a.m.
Exactly. At is a pinpoint, a
Yeah.
specific dot on your timeline.
But if I am talking about a broader part of the day, I use in the more, like in the morning.
That is a great way to look at it. In the morning is like a container of time, so you can naturally combine them to give the full picture.
Like in the morning, I wake up at 7 a.m.
Yes, perfectly said.
Yeah.
It gives the broad setting and then the specific action.
So let's look at what happens right after we get up. We usually move into our basic hygiene routines.
The bathroom routine.
Right. And the standard English phrasing here is usually have a shower or take a shower.
Both are super common.
And we also specifically say wash my face, using the word my rather than wash the face.
Yeah, that is a key feature of English.
Yeah.
We use possessive words a lot for our bodies. You wash your face, you brush your teeth.
It is very personal.
Yeah.
But looking past the grammar, these morning bathroom actions actually serve a massive biological purpose, right? It is not just about being clean.
Not at all. For example, the physical act of washing your face with cold water, that actually triggers a survival mechanism in your body.
Wait, really? Splashing water on my face is a survival mechanism.
Yeah, it's called the dive reflex. When cold water hits your face, especially around your eyes and nose, it sends a shock wave to your brain.
Oh, wow. So what does the brain do?
It instantly shifts your nervous system, it makes your heart pump vigorously, and it sends blood straight to your brain and your core.
So it basically forces you to wake up.
Exactly. It acts as a massive biological reset button. It snaps you into a state of high alertness.
That is incredible. So we say washing my face like it is a boring chore, but we are actually hacking our own nervous system.
That is exactly what you were doing.
Now, speaking of these routines, there is a fun fact about brushing our teeth that totally blew my mind.
Oh, the flossing statistic.
Yes, apparently only about 30% of people floss their teeth every day.
It is a surprisingly low number.
And for our English learners, flossing is when you use that thin piece of string to clean between your teeth, but only 30%. Why is that so hard for people to do?
Well, it shows us how habits actually work. Flossing is what we call a low-reward, high-friction activity.
High friction meaning it is annoying to do.
Basically, yeah, your brain loves habits that have a clear cue and a fast reward. With brushing your teeth, the reward is immediate. Your mouth feels minty and fresh right away.
Right, it feels good instantly.
But with flossing, the physical feeling isn't that great, and it takes a lot of careful hand movement. There's too much friction, so the brain just abandons the routine because it does not get that happy hit of dopamine fast enough.
That perfectly explains why I always buy dental floss and then just leave it on the counter for 6 months.
You're definitely not alone in that.
So this brings us to the broader science of mornings. Why do morning routines matter so much? Why is everyone so obsessed with how we start the day?
It all comes down to your internal body clock, your circadian rhythm.
Right, the 24-hour cycle.
Yes. And the main chemical your brain uses to control your sleep is a hormone called melatonin.
Melatonin, I see that sold in stores a lot. That is the chemical that makes you feel sleepy, right?
Exactly. When it gets dark outside, your brain floods your system with melatonin to prepare you for sleep.
But when our alarm goes off in the morning, our system is still full of that sleep hormone, isn't it?
It is. And the only way to clear that melatonin out quickly is light. Specifically, morning sunlight.
So opening the curtains and getting sunlight in your eyes isn't just a nice thing to do, it is biology.
It is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Your eyes have special light receptors. When bright morning light hits them, it sends a direct signal to your brain's clock.
And tells it to stop making melatonin.
Precisely. It tells your whole body that the day has officially begun.
Okay, but let's think about the reality of winter. Like, what if I live somewhere where it is pitch black outside at 6 a.m., but I have to wake up for work?
It is really tough. Because it is dark, your brain is convinced it is still the middle of the night.
Yeah, it physically hurts to get out of bed then. Am I just doomed to be tired?
Well, you can trick your brain. If you turn on really bright overhead lights the exact second your alarm goes off, you can fake that morning light.
So turn on the room lights immediately.
Yes. It is not as powerful as the sun, but it will trigger those eye receptors and start waking up the brain.
That is super helpful. Also, I read that drinking water early helps a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. You have been sleeping and breathing out water vapor for 8 hours. You wake up dehydrated.
So a big glass of water fixes that.
Right, it rehydrates you and helps your brain function. And doing some morning exercise helps too because it spikes your cortisol.
Wait, cortisol, isn't that the stress hormone? I thought we were supposed to avoid cortisol.
That is a very common misunderstanding. Chronic, constant stress is bad. But a quick, sharp spike of cortisol in the morning is exactly what you want.
Really?
Yes, it is your body's natural waking mechanism. Morning exercise gets your blood flowing and pushes oxygen to your brain.
So it just revs the engine.
Exactly.
Okay, so let me push back a little with a question. If this whole system of light and hormones is so delicate, is it really that bad to wake up at a different time on the weekend?
The weekend sleep in.
Yeah. I mean, on Saturday, I want to sleep more. I want to catch up on my rest.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but catching up on sleep is mostly a myth. Your body clock needs consistency to work well.
So waking up at 7 a.m. every single day.
Ideally, yes. If you wake up at 7 a.m. during the week, your brain starts preparing your body for that at 6 a.m. But if you sleep until 11 a.m. on Saturday,
Which feels amazing, by the way.
it does feel amazing, but chemically, you just confused your brain. You delayed your light exposure by 4 hours. You shifted your whole body clock.
Oh, no. So that is why Monday morning is so painful.
Yes. By Monday morning, when your alarm goes off at 7 a.m., your brain feels like it is being woken up at 3 in the morning. That is the social jet lag we talked about at the start.
That makes so much sense. Okay, so keeping a consistent work-up time is the secret.
It really is the foundation.
Right. So now we are awake, we are hydrated, and we are out of bed. We have to start our actual daily tasks. We move from waking up to the work or study routine.
Right, getting the day moving.
And when we describe these daily tasks in English, we use words to build our sentences into a paragraph. We call them sequencing words.
Words like first, then, next, and after that.
Exactly. Why are these words so important for English learners to use?
Well, without them, you just have a robotic list of actions. I wake up, I shower, I eat. It sounds very unnatural.
It sounds like computer talking.
Right. But using words like first and then is like building a bridge between your actions.
I love that analogy, a bridge for the listener.
Yes. It helps the listener walk smoothly from one idea to the next. For example, first, I wake up at 7 a.m., then I have a shower. After that, I catch the bus to work.
It sounds so much better. Now, wait, you just used a specific phrase there. You said, catch the bus to work.
I did.
We need to explain the rule here. We say, go to work or get to school. Notice what word we do not use.
We do not use the word the.
Okay. Right. We never say, I go to the work. Why is that?
It is because, in English, work and school are seen as states of being or general activities, not just specific physical buildings.
Oh, that is interesting. So it is a concept.
Exactly. When you say, I go to work, you mean you are entering your professional productive mode. You are not just pointing to a building on a map.
That makes perfect sense. And to get to that state of being, we usually have a commute. We say things like, I drive to work, or I walk to school, or I catch the bus.
Commuting phrases are very common.
But the reality of work is changing a lot. We looked at some data from the American Time Use Survey, and it was fascinating.
All the statistics on how people work nowadays.
Yes. In very simple terms, the data shows that 35% of employed people now do some or all of their work at home.
35%. That is a huge shift.
It really is. But at the same time, 73% still do some or all of their work at a workplace.
So there is a lot of hybrid working happening. People are mixing it up.
Exactly. And the survey also showed that people work an average of 8.1 hours on weekdays, but on weekends, people who work average about 5.5 hours.
So we do slow down a little bit on the weekends, which is good. But working from home brings up an interesting psychological point about routines.
Oh, how so?
Well, think about commuting, driving or catching the bus. That time acts as a boundary for your brain.
Like a transition period.
Yes. During a 30-minute drive, your brain slowly turns off work mode and turns on home mode. But when you work from home, that transition time disappears.
Oh, wow. You just close your laptop and you are instantly in your living room.
Right. There is no physical boundary anymore. So people find it much harder to mentally disconnect from work.
That explains why working from home can feel so exhausting sometimes. Which transitions us perfectly to the next topic. Working takes a lot of energy, so we need food.
Everyone's favorite topic.
Meals.
Yes. Let's talk about meals during the day. In English, we have specific verbs for meals. You can say eat breakfast or eat lunch. But native speakers usually prefer a different verb.
Right. We love to use the verb have. We say have breakfast, have lunch, or cook dinner.
Yes. To an English learner, the word have usually means you own something, like I have a car.
So why do we say have lunch?
Because with meals, have suggests the whole experience of enjoying the food. It sounds more natural and relaxed than the verb eat.
That is a great tip. And if we are just eating a small amount of food between meals, we call that a snack. Like, I usually have a snack at 3 p.m.
Perfect use of the word usually, by the way.
Thank you. That brings us to frequency words. These are so important for talking about routines. Words like always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, and never.
They're completely essential for describing everyday life.
Let's break them down simply. Always means 100% of the time. Usually is like 80%, often is around 70%, sometimes is 50-50.
Right, and rarely is very uncommon, maybe 10%, and never is 0.
And the sentence structure is so easy. It is just I plus the frequency word plus the activity.
So I usually have a sandwich.
Exactly. And what is cool is how culture changes the meals, but the sentence stays the same.
Oh, definitely. Someone might say, I usually eat cereal for breakfast, but someone in another country might say, I always eat rice and eggs for breakfast.
The food changes, but the English structure is identical. So easy.
It really is.
Now, let's look at the science behind that food. Why is breakfast so important? The data shows it gives us 20 to 35% of our daily energy, but so many people skip it.
People skip it to save time, mostly. But it is really tough on your brain.
Why? Can't the body just run on stored energy?
Well, your brain takes up a huge amount of energy. When you sleep, you are fasting. That is why it's called breakfast. You are breaking the fast.
Ah, I never thought of it that way.
By the time you wake up, your energy reserves are running very low. If you skip breakfast, your body thinks there is a food shortage.
Oh, so it stresses out.
Exactly. It creates a mild stress response. And when your body is stressed, it completely ruins your focus.
So that is why regular breakfast eaters usually have better focus during the day.
Yes. And they usually have better diets overall. Because if you eat breakfast, you don't get super hungry and crave sugary snacks in the afternoon.
A good morning routine sets up the whole day.
It really does. It is a domino effect.
Now, I have a quick clarifying question for you. I hear English learners say this all the time. When work is finished, they say, I go to the home to eat lunch. Why is that wrong?
Ah, yes. The special home rule.
Right. Why does go to the home sound so strange?
Because the word home is very special in English. We do not use the words to or the before it. We just say go home or get home.
So no extra words at all, just I go home.
Exactly. And it's almost like home is such a personal place, it does not need any grammar words to help it.
That makes it easy to remember. Just go home. And that brings us to the next part of our day, the evening routine.
Right. The workday ends.
And when it ends, we have a great phrase for finishing the day. We can say finish work, but we also say call it a day.
Call it a day. It is a very common idiom.
How would you explain that simply?
It basically means you are deciding that you are done working. You are officially stopping for the day.
I am tired. I am going to call it a day. I love that.
But even when we go home, the work doesn't actually stop, does it?
Sadly, no. Then we have our evening chores.
Right, the housework. And we use very action-based phrases here, like do the housework.
Yes. Do the dishes. Do the laundry.
And we also use specific verbs for things like clean the room or make the bed. Now, the statistics on housework are really interesting.
The division of labor stats.
Yeah. The data shows that 86% of women do household activities on an average day, compared to 71% of men.
That is a pretty significant difference.
It is. It shows that both men and women are doing chores, but women are still doing noticeably more of the daily household work.
Right, and it highlights how much mental energy it takes to manage a home. Definitely. And since our brains naturally want to avoid boring chores, we need a way to build better habits to get them done. This is where the medical sources gave us a brilliant concept.
Habit stacking.
Yes, habit stacking. Our brains love routine. Can you explain habit stacking in really simple English?
Sure. Habit stacking is when you take a new habit you want to learn and you attach it to an old habit you already do automatically.
Like brushing your teeth.
Exactly. You already brush your teeth every night without thinking. So if you want to start taking medicine daily, you put the medicine bottle right next to your toothbrush.
So the old habit triggers the new habit.
Yes. You stack them together. After I brush my teeth, I will take my medicine.
That is so smart. But there is another trick mentioned called the Premack principle. What is that?
In simple terms, the Premack principle is basically giving yourself a reward.
Giving yourself a reward.
Yes. You use something you really love doing to force yourself to do something you do not want to do.
So if I want to start reading a book in English every evening, how can I use habit stacking and giving myself a reward to actually do it?
Okay, let's say every evening you love to drink a cup of tea. That is your reward.
I do love tea.
So you stack the habit, you put your English book right next to your teacup, and then you make a strict rule. You are not allowed to take your first sip of tea until you read just one paragraph of English.
Oh, wow. So I hold the reward hostage until the work is done.
Exactly. Because you want the tea, you will read the paragraph, and soon reading English just becomes a totally automatic part of your evening routine.
That is such a practical tip. I love it. Okay, so once the chores are done and we have read our English book, it is finally time to relax. We move into leisure time and family routines.
The best part of the day.
The time expressions we use here are in the evening or at night. And the phrases we use for free time are pretty simple. Watch TV, play games, read a book, or socialize.
Or just relax.
Right. But there is a funny rule in English here. We say, watch TV. We specifically use the verb watch. But we say, read a book, or we say, look at a picture.
English is very picky about eyes.
Why does English have so many specific verbs just for looking at things?
It depends on what the object is doing. We use watch when something is moving or changing.
Like a TV show or a sports game.
Exactly. We use look at for something that is completely still, like a painting or a photograph. And we use read when we are translating words and symbols.
That makes perfect sense. Movement is watching, stillness is looking, symbols are reading.
You got it.
Now, out of all these free time activities, can you guess which one is the biggest?
I would definitely guess watching TV.
You are right. The data says watching TV takes up about 2.7 hours a day.
2.7 hours. That is almost 3 hours every night.
It is a lot. but we are tired.
Now, for families with children, the evening looks very different. The sources talked about why routines are incredibly important for kids.
Yes, the activities of daily living, or ADLs for short. Right. Why do children need such strict routines for eating, dressing, and sleeping? As adults, we like to be spontaneous.
Well, to a young child, the world is very chaotic and unpredictable. It can be quite scary.
So a routine makes them feel safe.
Exactly. A routine gives them structure and predictability. If a child knows exactly what is going to happen next dinner, then bath, then bed, they feel calm. And when they are calm, they can actually learn how to do things independently.
That is beautiful. It is not about being strict, it is about creating safety.
Exactly right.
The sources also mention something called secondary childcare. What does that mean?
Secondary childcare is when you are watching your children while doing something else at the same time.
Like cooking dinner while keeping an eye on the kids playing in the living room.
Yes, exactly. It takes a lot of mental energy because your brain is doing two jobs at once.
No wonder parents are so exhausted by the end of the day. And the data shows a big difference between a weekday evening and a weekend evening.
Oh, definitely.
On a weekday, evenings are short and busy. But on a weekend, people spend twice as much time socializing.
We finally have the time to connect with friends and family.
But eventually, the evening has to wind down. We have to prepare our bodies to rest so we can do it all again tomorrow. This brings us to our final routine, the sleep routine.
The finish line.
For our English learners, the final verbs of the day are go to bed and sleep. And just to be clear, they are not the same thing.
No, they are not. Go to bed is the physical action of walking to your bedroom and getting under the covers.
And sleep is when your brain actually turns off.
Right. You might go to bed at 10 p.m., but not actually sleep until 10:30.
Now, there is a very natural phrase native speakers use when talking about bedtime. Instead of saying, I usually go to bed at 11, we often say, I tend to go to bed around 11.
10 to. That is a great phrase.
What does tend to mean in simple terms?
It means this is what you normally do, but you are flexible. It means this is my habit unless I am really tired or unless a good movie is on.
So it sounds a bit softer and more natural than saying always.
Yes, it is very conversational.
Okay, let's look at the science of resting. How do we tell our brain it is time to sleep? In the morning, we wanted bright light to wake up
So in the evening, we want the exact opposite. We want to reduce light.
because light stops melatonin.
Exactly. Dimming the lights in your house tells your brain that the sun is setting. It signals the brain to start producing that sleep hormone, melatonin.
So looking at a bright phone screen in bed is probably a terrible idea.
It is the worst thing you can do.
Mhm.
The blue light from your phone tricks your brain into thinking it is morning. It stops the melatonin completely.
Oh, wow. And having a quiet, cool space helps too, right?
Yes, your body temperature naturally drops when you sleep, so a cool room helps you fall asleep much faster.
So lower the lights, lower the temperature. But I have to be honest here. Sometimes I try to do all of this and I still fail. I tend to go to bed very late because I just sit there looking at my phone.
We all do it sometimes.
It makes me feel so guilty. How can we honestly look at our bad habits without just giving up?
Well, the psychology sources emphasize something really important here. Being kind to yourself.
Being kind to yourself, is that really science or is that just feeling good?
No, it is real psychology. It is called self-compassion.
Tell me more about that.
If you miss a day of your new habit, or you mess up your sleep routine, you should not get angry at yourself.
Why not? Doesn't anger motivate us?
Actually, no. If you get angry and feel guilty, it causes stress. And when your brain is stressed, it looks for an easy reward to feel better.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Right. So you get stressed that you stayed up late, and to cover yourself, you look at your phone even more. It is a trap.
That is so true. So how do we break the trap?
By using self-compassion. You just say to yourself, I am human, I made a mistake tonight, but I will try again tomorrow.
So consistency is more important than being perfect.
Exactly. Using your frequency words helps here too. If you usually go to bed on time, but sometimes you mess up, that is still a huge success.
That makes me feel so much better. Just try again tomorrow. What a great way to look at it.
It really takes the pressure off.
Well, let's briefly remind our listeners of the incredible journey we just took today. We started by waking up and seeing the difference between wake up and get up.
We explored how morning light and water help our biology wake up smoothly.
We practiced sequencing words like first, then, and next to talk about working and studying.
We learned that using the verb have is the best way to talk about meals and how important a morning meal really is.
We talked about finishing the day, calling it a day, and going home without using any extra grammar words.
We discovered habit stacking and how to use rewards to build good evening routines.
We looked at the difference between watching TV and reading a book, and why routines keep children feeling safe.
And finally, we ended with the sleep routine, dropping the temperature, and the absolute power of being kind to yourself when you make a mistake.
Using simple verbs, time words, and frequency words makes talking about your day in English so easy and natural.
It gives you the tools to talk about real life.
But before we completely wrap up, I want to leave you, our listener, with one final provocative thought to mull over.
Something to think about.
Exactly. Think about how your daily routine is secretly training your brain every single day, whether you realize it or not.
That is a powerful thought.
Every single repeated action changes your brain just a little bit.
Yeah.
You are literally building your future mind with the habits you choose today.
So you have to choose them carefully.
Yes. So my call to action for you today is simple. What is one tiny, positive new habit you can stack onto your morning routine tomorrow?
Just one small thing.
Right. Maybe you drink a glass of water right after you wake up. Maybe you practice one English sentence while you wash your face. Try it out. Keep practicing your English every single day.
Consistency over perfection.
Exactly. Thank you so much for joining us on English Refined. We will see you next time.